for successful people out there, your children are watching. So you had not expected to go be in this industry.
No.
And your mom wasn't pushing on you.
I always say to my kids, like, I don't care how many times you failed, but it's your ability to get back up. And I believe it. And certain of my children have been really good at that in particular. And I think those are the ones that are going to make it, whatever it is. I don't care if you have a sculpture and you set it down in front of me. This is what makes you tick. So with that participation, we can get to the root of the nut of what you want, not what I want. Well, I am happy, and just because sad things happen doesn't mean you can't be happy. And that's...
Hello, and welcome to Living Your Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Weimer, founder and CEO of Confluence Financial Partners, where our mission is to help people maximize their lives and shape their legacies. On this podcast, we will unpack the stories, strategies, and mindsets of individuals who are intentionally shaping their lives and the impact they leave behind. Learn what drives these individuals to push forward, to create, and to give back. Betsy Wentz. I will admit, you are a surprise to me. I will. So I looked at like who our team was putting together to do, to do these podcasts, and I'm doing some research, and they say Betsy Wentz, interior designer, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then I start doing my research. Holy moly, you've done it differently, and it's amazing. But then we started talking. You got some energy.
I do.
And you have some real passion, which is really what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
People that have a true passion, and just mention some of the publications. My wife was looking, she was amazed. Some of the publications you've been in.
Yeah, so we've been in House Beautiful, and we've been in Better Homes and Gardens, and online we've been on Veranda, we've been on all the regional ones, and we were just on the cover of House Beautiful, which was amazing. So cool. That was kind of my dream. So we landed there, which was unbelievable. And we've been in, Veranda, El Decor digital stores, and wrote a book. And so all of that seems really far out of reach when you start. And then it's such a huge life to pack into. I think back 26 years when I started this, it just feels like, I don't know where the time went, I can't even think about it. I don't even know how it happened.
It feels like, if you were to say 26 years ago, you seem like a person of dream, vision. Could you have visualized this?
No, not even remotely. I mean, that wasn't what I was going to do at all.
But don't you hear that from successful people a lot?
A lot. And there's so many. And now apparently kids are changing their professions, 5, 10 times. In the time I was growing up, that wasn't so common.
Right.
But I think, it definitely, when I look back, I think I never could have scripted this, not in a million years. And I think back about like, how did that happen? And how did we get here? And, my husband might have a different answer to that question, but I really think it's, I'm a yes person. I say yes to a lot, and I don't overthink things. And I'm not saying it's foolproof. It doesn't always work out for you, but I think, just dancing kind of as fast as I can and doing the things that interest me. And it's like, if I do try to, do things that scare me a little bit too, that's always harder, right? But there's so much fun, and people think, oh, interior design, this is so much fun. And it is fun. It's also a lot of work. It's really hard it involves other people, right? It involves clients, and it involves vendors, and it involves all these other people. So complicated.
Let me back up, because I want to go start again. So, because I know you have this passion today to really, create spaces, to create moments, and, create your client's vision as soon as you can figure out what that is. But go back, what started the passion in interior design?
So my mom was an incredible interior designer. She never took the business as far as I did. She wanted to be home when we got home from school. She wanted to be there when we left for school. So she did limit her clientele and her business as a whole. But I grew up, tagging along to the wallpaper stores and the fabric stores and whatnot. It never occurred to me. She was not someone who pushed it on me or anything like that. I always had an interest in psychology. I decided to major in that in college. I became very interested in practicing at the next level, getting my master's and my PhD. I was just fascinated with human nature, I guess. And it never occurred to me to do anything else. And I went along that path, not overthinking it. Went to college, graduate school, got a job at Western Psychiatric. And,
So you were behavioral health.
I was behavioral health. And you know what? It really was such a great background for what I do now, not ever having planned for that. But I really do think that everybody should go to school and get their master's degree in human behavior, because it's really, really comes in handy when you're dealing with people, which is what I do all day long. And what you do all day long. It's what we do, what most people do. So for me, it became...
And the world changes. People don't change that often. I mean,
That's right.
Human behavior, once you understand
Right.
human behavior, it
Right.
goes across a lot of different industries.
Right. And it makes you more, you have a lot more empathy for people too, when you understand what goes into their emotions and their thoughts, and everybody has a different path and they all came from different places. And so we have to meet them where they are. And I think, for me, that process and working at Western Psychiatric, I worked in eating disorders. It was sad. It was really sad. We were dealing with all sorts of people. And I think by then I'd met my husband. We wanted to have a family. I just felt like it wasn't going to be my thing. And I knew I wanted to work. So I decided to sort of dip my toe into it. I got a job at a local furniture store, worked for someone else for a little while I was phasing out.
So that's a big change, right? So all this schooling, all this cost, all this, you're in behavioral health, Western Psych, profession.
Yeah.
Go-
My
you know,
dad
I
was
look-
like, what?
I'll bet.
Yeah, right.
I would be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to a furniture store?
Right. So I did. I worked in a furniture store, and it was really interesting. I mean, I was picking pink colors and I was selling frames and learning about it. But obviously, I was also in contact with my mom down the road. So the plan was to join her. And I did that. In 2000, I guess around 2000, 2001. And she was
And
yeah.
For successful people out there, your children are watching. So you had not expected to go be in this industry.
No.
And your mom wasn't pushing on you.
No.
But you were
never.
watching your mom,
Mhm.
and I guess the saying is more is caught than taught. And so somewhere along the line, you developed a passion for
Well, I
it.
always loved it, right? I mean, I loved watching and the joy that it ignited in her and all the people around her. And it was fun. It was fun growing up. We always had a shop above the garage through all the houses, and she had the clients in and out. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a fun place to be. We'd go up after school and hang out with her employees. She always had one really good friend who worked with her to the end. And it was just a fun place to be. It's joyful. It's a fun environment. But I don't know. I don't know if I didn't think I was suited. It just literally never crossed my mind. And then as I started down this path and learning from her, I was really fortunate to have those years with her. She taught me everything. I had a lot to learn, obviously. But I experienced it. So it was on the job training, of course, watching her. And I did have a lot of that in me. I did have a lot of that just from watching her growing up. So we flash forward, we worked together for many years above the garage in that studio with clients, some of whom I still see today. I'm actually working on a project now with a client who I met that one of those very first days. And she just bought.
How long did you and your mom work together?
So we were together from about 2000 to about 2007-ish. She started to get sick 2005, 2006, and it was a very long road with Alzheimer's. So it started slowly, as it does, and little things here and there. And then we reached a point where she just couldn't practice anymore, and it was really tough. That was so hard
Just
for
some
all
hard
of us.
years.
Very hard years. And I was busy having kids. I have 4 children. So by then, my third was being born, my third son. And I had 3 boys running around. And it was, in a way, it was a way to stay close to her. But it was so hard, right? It was really hard working with her. And she was very forgetful. And she was such a master at what she'd done and been doing. And it became really difficult for her to do that. So it was a tough conversation of, it was like, you can't be here. And that's not,
It's hard.
that's really hard. Yeah. So we went on, she went on to live for a very long time with the disease, and we took care of her for a very long time. And I say we, I mean, my husband and I, my sister, my brother, I mean, we were all there. But I'm the only kid in town, was the only child in town, or, adult child in town. So it was a lot. It was a lot for me and the kids. I mean, I wouldn't give any of it back. I think they learned a lot also about, caring for your family. And she slowly deteriorated, of course, to when she ultimately passed away in 2020. But and I wonder if you asked me about my drive and where I come, I've always had energy, right?
Right.
So I mean, I'm obviously a very
But you're living the legacy of your mom also. There's something that driving you.
I wonder if in those years, those hard years, if I wasn't sort of trying to lose myself in that, in that process, because it was so hard, right? So it was very difficult to care for her, run the business, be the mom of eventually 4 kids, be a wife.
But yeah.
So I was driven, I think, too, because it kept me busy and I wasn't thinking about it all the time. So I do think that there was a part of me that just got lost in that process. And I think
But so often
it becomes
you
addictive.
said it when it was a really, really hard time.
Yeah, it was.
But you then say, but I want to change the idea for the world.
I wouldn't because you know what, like selfishly, like people say, oh, you took care of your mom for all those years. You're such a saint. No, like those were years that was my benefit. I was privileged to have that time with her, right? Because she continued to be this beautiful, wonderful person. She didn't know who a lot of us were, but she taught all of my kids something. My oldest son, Jack, they had a very strong connection. He's now 23. He was her first grandchild, and to the very end, a tear appeared in her eye when he entered the room. She knew. And so these kids learned a lot too. And now, I feel like that was a gift that she gave all of us, even though it was so, so hard. So, it was definitely a process. It was definitely a very sad thing. And then our house burned down, the house that I grew up in.
I promised everyone listening, it's a really happy ending.
I know, I'm like going down a dark path, but there was a fire.
I know. And then there was a fire.
And then there was
I'm glad you do, because when people see you today, and it's like, dang, top of the world, traveling all over the place, doing cool projects all over United States, writing books called Design and Happy, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I am happy, and just because sad things happen doesn't mean you can't be happy. And that's and I think
all of us.
and it's resilient, which don't get me started on resilience.
I don't go.
Because I always say to my kids, like, I don't care how many times you failed, but it's your ability to get back up. And I believe it. And certain of my children have been really good at that in particular. And I think those are the ones that are going to make it, because everybody falls down. It's how do you get up, right? So for me, like, there was a lot of darkness, and then the fire kind of put her over the edge. And then that's kind of how my business, though, the reason I brought it up is that's kind of how my business was born, because my particular brand, because the home we had to leave that 180-year-old home, because the studio, the shop that I was working at, was in the garage. So that's when I sort of rebranded myself.
Is that when you went into your current?
No, I've been through, this is my 4th building.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yes. So I had to work my way up. So I started with, it was emergency, obviously, because we weren't expecting it. So I'm a very generous shop owner, and Swickly offered to lease me a space on the 2nd floor above a market. And I took it and worked there for years with building my business. And then I bought another building, a wonderful building on Walnut Street.
So,
Swickly.
okay, but in talking, you said, but I'm not afraid. I'm a yes person.
I am a yes person.
So through that all,
yeah,
a lot of courage, right? I mean, living through your mom and all that, and being with your mom and being there to support her. House burns down.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna hey, we're not folding here.
No, that was not an option. But I will say the other thing that drove me on, and that I'm so lucky and so privileged to have the husband that I do, because he supported me through all of this and always encouraged me to take the next step. I think that too, because it was hard on him, it wasn't even his family, right? So that was tough too. But I think that he always encouraged me to do the next thing, the next rung on the monkey bar, take the next rung,
I was just with another couple earlier. Mm-hmm. Business is a team sport.
Yeah.
Having your spouse's absolute support.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
It is. I could not have done it without him. No way.
Zero.
And it's not like he's a slouch. I mean, he's a physician and working long hours and getting up in the middle of the night to go save people's lives. And so I was super lucky to have, am super lucky. I remain super lucky every day of my life that I have the support. He was also very kind and really very wonderful to both my parents. And so I owe him all of that and then some. So he encouraged me to expand when it was appropriate. So we did, and we bought that building. And that was really that was my first brick and mortar building. And I was there for just almost 10 years. So I bought that building in 2015. And we were there. I did complete gut job, redid the whole thing, and lots more space, and hired a few more employees. And the jobs, I think that was when we started to really start taking on out of town work and start, getting more, we had more editorial attention. I had joined the Kips Bay show house in Palm Beach in 2019, or is it 2020? That also sort of catapulted things. And I was working with a marketing firm in New York City, which also really helped. So those were the years that I really built the brand.
I mean, I get it, but holy moly, like you go from fire to, and oh, by the way, Palm Springs, New York, and all over the country, I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to guess there were some things you did along the way that was pretty awesome, because it's clear that you're resilient. It's clear that you have energy. I think the killer app is you obviously have a passion for what you do, but I mean, you bring the energy. I think, you're bigger than being a designer. There's something, right? What do you think that is? Because I think to be successful, you have to have just something different. What do you think that is?
Well, I think I'm genuinely interested in people and what makes them tick too. And I enjoy that process. I mean, there are people who want a desk job, people who want to not be around people. For me, I've always been very gregarious. I love being around people. I love understanding people. And I think having studied that and then go into this field, it's really been about the process of the client and that entire journey that we take together, whether it's a room or an entire house. And more it's becoming whole houses, whole projects.
But I think that's interesting, because if we're working with someone, we're trying to figure out, okay, so really what you're all about. Like, what is it that you really care about long term? And you really try to learn what they want their legacy and what their life to be. And I think I can learn from you, and I'm looking forward to that. So you're meeting with like I just said to you, I want a barn.
Right.
I want my barn, not your barn.
Right. So you don't want a barn. I already did. You want a barn. You want
your my barn.
Yeah. Your stamp.
So I want
your
my
bone.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, how do you go about, because there must be great questions. How do you learn and observe and study that person? So because you're building their dream.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess they can't articulate it what it is.
No. And that's just it. You hit the nail on the head. So when I meet with people for the very first time, they need to agree to be a participant in the process. So I don't do, here are 3 options. It's a soulless home. There's no soul to it. So I force people, and that's why I have such a large studio. I force people to come in and to pour through fabrics and wall coverings or whatever it is. I don't care if you have a sculpture and you set it down in front of me. This is what makes you tick. So with that participation, we can get to the root of the nut of what you want, not what I want. Because I mean,
do they ever design something you go like, it's out and done?
Of course.
Do you?
But
we built our house, our architect, when I had an idea that was good, he said, yeah, let's go. If I didn't, he wouldn't tell me I was full of it. He would say, well, architecturally. And so for me, I realized when he said that,
but
I knew it was a bad idea.
On a bad path.
Bad path.
Well, what I will say is I assume if you're going to hire me that you want my opinion and that you will listen to me to a degree. I really do think the best projects, the most beautiful projects, are ones where there are equal parts of the client and the designer, myself. And I think that involvement is really next level.
I expect you to come in with bright purple, by the way. Because you're such.
We do a lot of neutral, though. That's what people don't understand. We don't always photograph it. We don't always market that. That's been my thing, right? Like, so design happy, color pattern. I love all that. But we do a lot. We do whatever the client asks. And I think when you get to that end result, the best project, the very best project, that the best result is going to be when it starts and ends with the client participating. So you come in and you say, I love this. I can't believe I love this. I don't know why I love this. I just got done telling you I don't like the color green and this is green, but I can't stop looking at this. I love this. Well, guess what? If I don't hear love, we're
By the way,
going to
you have
continue
passion around
working.
the color green. I think
I do. It's my favorite
I
color.
don't even know.
It's
I'm
my
like,
favorite color.
man, she's talking about green like a priest would talk about Jesus.
Well,
This is amazing.
I only have a few design rules about things I don't allow, and it's a very short list. But I will say, like, even if what you bring me is not my favorite,
Right.
my job is to bring you to a place where you are loving and excited about all the things that we're putting together. And I'm going to take you on this journey, and we're going to weave, my staff I have all these phrases, and most of them come from my mom, by the way. When people want to know,
Wait. So do you write these all down so your children have your mom's phrases?
Well, a lot of them are in my book.
Okay.
I did dedicate the book to my mom, and a lot of her things are in there, her pearls of wisdom. But I do, and actually the girls keep a book at work of all of I have a lot of analogies that I use, some of which are inappropriate sometimes in front of clients, and they always write them down. They're like, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
But she always said her big tagline was buy what you love and you'll find a place for it. And that is truly, my husband hates that phrase because I buy a lot of things, and he finds it hard to find places for them sometimes in our house. But
Right.
I really believe, and she believed, you'd say, I love this, but what am I going to do with it? Don't worry about it. If you really love it that much, buy it and you will find a place. We will find a place for it. So we can frame it, hang it on the wall. We can build a space for it. Whatever it is, we'll find a place. She used to say, the sky is blue and the grass is green. So those are neutrals. They can be used interchangeably. There's a million different phrases that make a lot of sense to me. And I think it helps people understand that there aren't rules. It's what we're doing together is unique in every way. So we're going to pick a thread and we're going to weave it throughout your barn or your house or whatever it is. And all that means is
we can't let this passion die. We got to get one of your children in this.
I know. I want them to.
Yeah.
I want them to. I do want them to. My boys, they call it my color business. They're like, no, thank you to the color business, Mom. But my daughter is a quiet observer. I do have faith that someday she'll buy that.
At her age, you aren't interested, correct?
No, not at all.
So
No.
there you
And
go.
I've reminded her of that. She wants to get out of school and go to High Point Market with me to launch my new furniture line. She wants to come with me to, to California or to New York for my trips. But I'm not so sure if she just wants to come to have fun and go shopping or whether she's really interested.
Doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't
Right.
matter. But I do always say my goal in any project, if we're doing a whole house, it shouldn't all match, but you should be able to take a pillow or a chair or drag something from one end of the house to the other and have it not look out of place. Because we don't want to match, but we don't want the house to look discombobulated in any way. There has to be a flow and a vibe, and that thread will be woven one way or the other. And so if we're working to answer your question, we're working together and they pull out something that just doesn't work, I do try to tell people, this is not the best choice and here's why. Maybe we can incorporate it in a different place, but this isn't right for this. Now, if they really want it, I will give it to them. But my job is to push people to a point where they're a little anxious and nervous about what we're doing, but they're so excited and they love it. And so that's really how I approach everything. And if someone says, yeah, you really think this is going to look good? I don't know. I can tell if they don't like it. And even if it looks beautiful, we're not doing that because it's your house, right? So that is something my mom always said, it's the client.
That's hard. I mean, that's a skill.
It is hard.
It's hard because your stuff is really bright. So you have so much energy, you have so much passion. By the way, I think, and that's what this is all about, right? So how do you in your life find the passion that you have for colors, the passion I have for helping people plan their lives? That passion is really what defines. Like some people like what they do.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with anyone that likes what they do.
Yeah.
I want to work with someone that loves what they do.
Right.
I want
Yeah.
I want people to think about it in the middle of the night.
Right.
That's what you want.
Right.
Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn it off?
Unfortunately for everyone around me, it doesn't get turned off very often. I do run 1,000,000 miles a minute, and I have tried to harness that a little bit at the request of those closest to me. It's very hard. I am excited all the time about what I'm doing, almost all the time. So it's very hard. And I think, we touched on this when we were talking the other day. Like for me, I don't benefit. I don't think people benefit. I think I'm a much better mom and wife and friend and person in general running at the speed I do. I think if I tried to be mindful. I know I should be. I'm just not. And that's just not who I am. I mean, I will say I'm a creature of habit. I get up every single morning at 5:15 and I exercise first thing. And then I always have coffee for about an hour, hour and a half before anybody wakes up. So I do have those hours. And my husband will always say, why are you so tired? Why are you still getting up? Why are you up this morning? And it is my form of relaxing and taking that time. So I do try to take care of that, but it's
okay. So similar. So, yeah, I think about this all the time. It's what I think about.
yeah.
And I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I think if I asked my wife, we both have 4 children. So I think if I asked my wife and children, would it be better if I slowed down? I think they would say, oh my goodness, no.
Right.
I don't.
Then what would they do with you?
And what would I do with myself?
What would you do?
I'll tell you, without working hard and thinking about the bit, I get paranoid. Like my mind still races, but not healthy.
Right.
So like it's not good.
No, it's
so
not.
like I like thinking about the business. It's what I do. Don't think I'll ever retire. I think I'm a better husband. I think I'm a better example to my kids. I still did all the coaching and stuff. So I think the idea, you're an all-in person.
I am.
I think that's positive for families.
I think it is too. I think I'm a much better mom. I know, being so fulfilled and loving. And I find the happy in what I'm doing. I will say one of my sons, he's now 20 years old. He's in college. And I remember when he was in beginning high school and we were sitting at Swigley Academy and he was sitting and looking out the window during his advisor meeting for our first ever advisor meeting. And the advisor said, Coop, what are you looking at the window? And he was looking across the street at the Edgeworth Club at all the parents playing paddle.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, I'm just wondering why you can't just be a paddle. I mean, this is crazy because I was really busy and it was I'll never forget it.
Get it.
And I felt bad for a long time about that.
I get it. Yeah. So I said to my wife, we have a place in Naples and I can go down I still work down there and I can't stay down there forever because my happiest moment is coming back up the steps to my office. I know that's pathetic, but it's just reality. But I'll say to my wife, because with all due respect to my friends that do this, I'm not criticizing, I'm just observing, but they walk around the neighborhood with their little dogs. And I say to my wife, oh dear, please, never let me be that guy. You're
not the guy with the dog.
It's just not me.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Success leaves clues, right? So you get up at 5:15. You're beating me. I get up at 5:30. But same. So I get up at 5:30, but I only get in here like 8:15.
Me neither. I'm never at work almost before 9:30.
See, I'm 8:30.
Yeah.
I get up. I meditate. I do my. I have certain questions I ask myself.
Yeah.
I have my coffee. I mean, there's a certain routine I do so that when I do come in here, I'm coming in here ready to go.
Well, it's productivity. And I think that's our form of productivity is actually being alone and being able to process all of the things that are rolling around in your head all day long.
Did you turn on the TV?
No.
Me either.
I don't listen to the radio in the car. I'm always I like to just, those are the moments where I think I take my pause. And I think it's hard for people to understand that. I mean, if I had a dime for every person who says, how do you do it? How do you do it all? And I always say, the trick is, there's a lot of glass balls in the air. The trick is knowing which ones can fall to the ground and which can't. And I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes and I'm sure, I could be a better mom and a better wife, but I do the best I can with sort of what God gave me, which is a lot of energy. And when my husband and I were doing our marital counseling right before we got married, the ministers said, they make you do that, like little meeting to make sure you're compatible or whatever. And they would say, well, what's the one thing that scares you most about your wife? And I think his response was something like her energy level.
Oh,
I'm a little, He said, I appreciate it. And I'm also a little afraid of it because I just have a lot of.
Here's how we knew we were a match. We went to a convent in Greensburg and all these couples are like getting to know each other and they're fighting. And they're writing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a disaster.
They're
fighting. People are crying. And I said to my wife, this is how I knew we were going to make it. I said, let's get the hell out of here and have a drink. And we
Yes!
we stuck
That's
out.
perfect. I love
You know,
it.
we stuck
Yeah.
out. It's like, who
I
needs
love
this,
it.
right? Don't like you
Yes.
said earlier,
Overthink it.
don't overthink it.
Yeah.
We're good. Let's
Right.
go on. We had a mission, but we were on a shared mission together. And it sounds like you're very supportive of your husband. He's very supportive of you. We were on a shared mission together. And I think
Yeah.
that's really important.
It is, because in the end, those years went like that.
I know.
I've been married 25, it'll be 26 years, same amount of time I've been doing this. And it went quickly and in a flash of an eye, but it's also been, if you look back, it's been a lot of work. So it's like anything in life. It's a balance. It's hard,
perfect.
it's fun, it's fabulous.
Hard. There's ups
happy.
and downs.
Yeah.
But it goes quickly. And I think that's a key for people, for me to think about, for all of us. And that is, that's why I think I am so intentional when I wake up and what I do, and making sure I'm really focused on the things I care about throughout the day, because life's short. There's two things I think people say that aren't exaggerated. Maybe there's more. Life's short.
Yeah.
And grandkids are the best.
I don't know about the second one, and I hope not to know that for a little while, but I will I'll take your word for it.
It's the best. But life's short. You know,
It is.
you think about, how fast the 25 years went.
Yeah.
And
And you just hope you have another 25. And that's,
for 25.
Exactly. And I know that all too well too, obviously. And now I've lost both my parents, but I think like it's whatever stamp I'm going to leave, I want it to be genuine, and I want it to be, I want it to be me. And I think that's what I'm doing. And for right or wrong, and whether one of my children wants to take it over or not, I'm leaving my mark. And I'm about to launch my very first line of furniture, which I don't think I told you the other
No.
day. So it's launching in the spring, in April, in High Point, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And an opportunity came, a really great one. And so I just find, like I said, I'm just tiptoeing on those tadpoles, and you look back and you think, how did we get here, right? And it's like, it doesn't even matter. I said yes to all the things, the things I wanted to do, the things that scared me, the things that didn't. And so my biggest thing, for the advice I have for my kids, is take the opportunity, take the meeting, take the whatever it is, because if you don't do that, you'll never know what you could be. And I think a lot of people don't have that personality. And I think I feel sorry, because I want them to take those opportunities and understand what can happen. And it doesn't mean being a successful interior designer. It could be anything. It could be anything. Yes, it could be.
And you don't know when it's going to happen.
No, you
Like,
don't.
you could have that interaction.
Yeah.
That's like, dang, that, like, I just thought we were meeting, and then before you know it,
Yeah.
it's an interaction that,
Yep.
who knows?
Yeah. It is.
But you want to. We all end up the same spot.
You do.
And when I get to a funeral, it's always a point of reflection, because I think about, okay, that's going to be me there someday.
Yeah.
And I want the people I care about to be there saying, I didn't do everything perfectly,
Right.
but he left it all on the field.
Yep. That's it.
Left it all.
No regrets.
No regrets. Left it all on the field.
Yeah.
And I think I think a lot of successful people, and a lot of people that have passion and live their business, I think they have that belief. And yours, the beauty that you and I have, your rooms and your experiences and the things you create will live a lot longer than you. And same with us. And I think that's a blessing.
It is. And like you said, we'll be lucky enough if one of our kids want to keep it going, and
Well, I have one
we
in.
can pray.
I have one in, and I have 3 more that I'd like to convince to come in. But my son is the president of the firm. So.
Which is amazing.
It's
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
You'll
That's
get
my
there.
greatest. I hope so.
What's your daughter's name?
Marlo.
Marlo.
We call her Lo.
Hey, Lo.
She keeps wanting to
that's
change the
funny, I call
name.
my
I'm
wife
like,
Lo.
girl, you're not close to being able to change the name yet, okay?
Hello.
I'm the talent at the moment, but we can see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
But I did name my first piece of furniture after her, though, the Lolo Lounge. It's
Oh,
a chaise lounge. Yeah, so we have.
That's so funny. I call my wife Lola.
Do you?
I do. I don't know. I mean, their name's Lauren.
Similar.
Yeah, call her Lolo. Yeah,
That's-
that's so funny.
That's a nickname.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
Thanks for
appreciate-
having me. It
love-
was a lot of fun.
I love your passion.
Thank you.
What you're doing is amazing. I love that you went through some challenges, but you kept on going, and you had a vision, and you're not afraid, and it doesn't sound like you're done yet.
Not even close.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.